unleavened bread, right? Check this out now. Check this out. It says, for 7 days, you must eat unleavened bread. On the very first day, you must remove any yeast that you have in your house. Excuse me. Whoever eats anything with yeast in it from the first day through the 7th day must be excluded from Israel, right? But I thought to myself, I say, well, God, why was that such a big deal? Why was that such a big deal for them to not use yeast, right? Because that seems kind of severe to say, well, I'm going to exclude you from Israel, meaning I'm going to exclude you from the covenant, right? Because Israel was the covenant people, right? They were the people that had a covenant with God. They were God's chosen people, right? So now for him to say, I'm going to exclude you from the covenant if you eat leavened bread, if you eat food with yeast during this festival, right? That's pretty severe, right? When you say so, that's pretty severe, right? What is that? If that's the case, then there has to be a reason. There has to be a message in what he's saying, right? When I studied what leaven was, I understood why. For us, yeast is, you go to the store, you get your little powder, you put it in there, it fluffs up, everything's good, right? But for them, it wasn't like that. What they did was they took fragments from a previous bread and let it sit in water and let it ferment. Almost like how you would make wine, how you would let wine ferment. You let it die and ferment, and the byproduct becomes wine. Well, what they would do is they would take bread from a previous bake, put it in water, let it ferment in the water over time, and then they would use that into their new bread. And that's what they used as yeast, right? So because this is where the problem is, because when something ferments, it means that it's decayed, right? It's dead. So you're eating something that's really rotten, right? So what he's saying is, check this out, because remember, he told you before, he said, eat the Passover meal in a state of readiness, expecting deliverance, right? Expecting to go to your next phase of life. Amen? So he's saying, through this festival, what he's saying is, if you take your old ways, your old shortcomings, your old issues into your new life, you're going to end up excluding yourself from the covenant. Y'all caught that? If you come to Christ and say, God, I want you to be the Lord of my life, but then you say, but I'm still going to drink, I'm still going to go clubbing, I'm still going to, sleep out of marriage, I'm still sleep around out of marriage, I'm still going to do all the old stuff. He's saying, if you take that leaven of your old life, right? Or if you take that yeast of your old life and bring it into this new life, what you're going to do is you're going to make yourself disqualify yourself from being able to partake in the life of Christ. Amen. You're going to disqualify yourself from being able to partake in the benefits that the blood has for you. Because you're taking your old ways, your old mindsets, your old habits into a new life. That's why Jesus said you can't put new wine into an old wineskin. Because you end up bursting the bottle. Meaning what? You end up losing the new wine. Or you end up losing the new life. So everything you worked so hard for, when you came up here to receive Christ into your life, or however you receive Christ, when you did that and you continue, when you pursue doing wrong, when you know it's wrong, when you pursue doing wrong, what you're doing is you're actually disqualifying yourself from partaking in the works of Christ. So you can't take that old decayed life into a new thing. You can't take that old dead stuff into a new thing. Amen? You can't do that. Because what you're doing is you're corrupting your new life. And see, this is the problem. Because, wow. Notice what I said. It said you will be cut off from Israel or you'll be cut off from the covenant, right? That's the reason why we can be saved and not have money, not have health, not have peace, not have joy, because we're bringing old stuff into our new life. Because when we bring our old stuff into the new life, we disqualify ourselves from experiencing what the new life has to offer. Amen. So that's why people come to church and they're still experiencing money problems. They're still experiencing marital problems. They're still experiencing family problems. They're still experiencing health problems, all those things, because you are disqualifying yourself through your old habits, through your old ways. You're disqualifying yourself. Amen. It's quiet, boy. That must have struck a chord. We're disqualifying ourselves when we do that. Amen. Check this out. Think about it. Because I watched my mom's face. When I said what the yeast was, her face looked like, why would you do that? Think about what you're doing. You're taking something that's dead. Would you take the dead rat in your old house into your new house? Would you do that? I would venture to say no one in here will take a dead animal from an old house into a new house, right? Why? Why wouldn't you do that? It's nasty. It's gonna stink. What? It's gonna make it unbearable. You're taking the problem from the old house. I hope y'all caught that. You're taking the thing that you ran from when you came to Christ, you're bringing it with you. God, I need you to deliver me from this. But then you brought it right along with you into the new house. So then here's the thing. That's the reason why people will come and say, well, I thought this church thing was going to work for me, but ain't nothing changed. Hold on. Was it that nothing changed? Was it that God didn't do anything for you? Or was it that you brought that old mess into your new life? Did you continue to do the same things over and over and expect a new result? Thinking that, oh, God was just going to change stuff for you. No. You have to change your actions. You have to change your mindset. Amen. You have to change that in order to experience a different result. So we're gonna let go of that old stuff, amen.